What is going on, New York Giants fans? Welcome to another video from Hit Squad Productions. In this video, we're going to go over the roster update that just came out, and the New York Giants have released right guard Kevin Zeitler. Now, we heard about this recently, them saying that if they can't trade Kevin Zeitler or restructure his contract, that they were going to outright release him. And I've been in favor of not doing that. I think that Kevin Zeitler is more of a help to this team than a disservice. I understand with the cap situation, there are reasons for it. But I'm gonna give my thoughts on this. I'm gonna be raw about it and give my thoughts on this. The Giants will save $9.6 million with this cut, and we've been active, right? The Giants, we've been active with releasing players, restructuring contracts, which if you look about a week ago, we cut Golden Tate and David Mail, which created $8.5 million in salary cap space. We also cut Cody Core, and they restructured Levi Toilolo's contract. So we've been active. But this I'm not a fan of. I'm sorry. I'm just not a fan of this whatsoever. Kevin Zeitler has been our most consistent lineman. He started in all 31 games to which at right guard, but including in those 31 games, you got to throw in the fact that if you look at last year, he's played all 16. He's been healthy, he's been consistent, he hasn't really dealt with too many injuries for us, even though he is up there in age. But you could make the argument that he is our best offensive lineman, or was, our best offensive lineman that we had. Now, granted, he was due to make a lot of money this year, which I thought that was a lot of money in general to pay a right guard. I was not in favor of paying him that much money. But again, I thought that we could at least extend him maybe 2 years, try to get out of it in a year, lower his cap hit so that we could at least keep Kevin Zeitler. This offensive line, it's not good. Let's be honest. This offensive line, it's not good. And as much as I want to say that we have Shane Lemieux, even though he was a rookie last year, he still didn't play too good. He really didn't. I understand he had to really step in for Will Hernandez, who was benched. We still don't know the reasoning to that, but you can't tell me that Shane Lemieux is a better guard than Will Hernandez, because that's not true. And you can't tell me that you feel more comfortable with Shane Lemieux at right guard than you would of Kevin Zeitler. Kevin Zeitler has been, again, our most consistent offensive lineman that we've had. When you look at the metrics, when you look at the numbers, off board, he has been our most consistent offensive lineman. Releasing Kevin Zeitler, to me, puts another hole on this offensive line. It really does. And they're going to have to address it. He was a solid run blocker for us. He was a decent pass blocker for us. Not the best, but he was a decent pass blocker for us. And I honestly do expect the New York Giants to address the offensive line. I've said this before, regardless of whether they released Kevin Zeitler, I expected the New York Giants to address the offensive line just so that we can have some more depth. While I'm not Dave Gettleman, I don't have the most trust in Matt Parrott. I really don't, but you heard from yesterday's presser that Dave Gettleman seems to be very sold on having Matt Parrott start at right tackle. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's sold to have Shane Lemieux play at right guard. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants address the right guard position, or let alone a tackle position, early in the draft. I'm not saying they're going to do it, first round, but I wouldn't be surprised if a first round talent that slips into the second rounds is picked up by the New York Giants. I would not be surprised. And let's be honest here. Kevin Zeitler will sign somewhere else. Make no mistake of that. He will sign somewhere else. Maybe back with the Giants on a cheaper deal. I doubt it. I think that's like 1 in a million chance. But I honestly think that he will sign with another team. Hopefully he can rebound and get a fresh start. Because there are teams out there that could really use a good, I'm not going to say he's a good guard. I'm going to say that he's a decent guard. Just because he was good for us doesn't mean that he's going to be a good guard for another team. That's just my opinion. When you really look at it, he was a good guard for us, but when you compare it to the rest of the league, not so much. So, I do understand that completely. But now with the cap coming out today, the cap will be around $183 million. And the Giants have to figure out what they're going to do in terms of cap space. I didn't want it to come down to releasing Kevin Zeitler. Again, I thought that we should have extended him, but obviously he's going to be playing somewhere else. I do think that we need to keep the chemistry of this offensive line, and releasing players year in and year out, it's not going to do that. It's not. But I think that we do have something solid, going forward. I am worried right now. I can't lie to you guys. I am worried. I worry about Daniel Jones. Okay, I'm tired of him getting sacked. I don't want to see him get injured. I want Saquon to run behind a competent offensive line. I mean, who doesn't? We see the kind of talent that Saquon is and what he's been able to do with the piss-poor offensive line that we've been giving him. So what can he do behind a very, if not a good offensive line, at least a league average offensive line? Because that's my expectations. I'm not expecting the New York Giants to go out and have a top 5 offensive line, but a middle in the pack offensive line would be fairly decent. I'll take it. I really would at this point. But look, at the same time, this line is young, they're maturing, but we are going to need some veteran presence. And hearing that Gettleman again is sold on Matt Peart, I'm not sold on it. I'm not sold on it. So to me, this isn't good news, but we're going to have to live with the Giants fans. We're going to have to see what happens with Leonard Williams and his contract. We're going to have to see what happens with Nate Solder, if we cut him post June 1st or not. Expect more of this, Giants fans. Really, really expect more of this. I'm not shocked that this happened, but it is a bummer that this happened. But let me know your thoughts below. How are you guys feeling about this trade? Do you guys like this trade? Are there any players you guys are looking at right now, whether that's a free agency or in the draft, that you feel that could replace Kevin Zeitler, or at least be a competent competition for Shane Lemieux for the right guard position? Let us know below. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, leave a like below, follow us on Twitter, and we'll see you guys in the next video.